Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Bridget, also known as Florida Women Flipper. Thanks for joining me. This week we're going to do something a little bit different. I know each week we've been doing a little bit different type of video, and the reason for that is because I'm new at this. My channel is very new, so I'm kind of touching base on kind of every category I can think of that's related to reselling online and my reselling online business. So last week, if you didn't see my video, I went to my beach house and shared with you how I basically decorated the entire beach house by thrifting and what I bought, how much I spent, and where I got it from. Today, we're going to be taking a look at what sold. So my sales haven't been that active because I haven't been listing as much as I should be, and just have a lot of things going on, and putting some goals in place to get my listing up so that my sales will go up. Because as you're about to see, you will see how many items that I sold that were listed very recently. So I'm going to tell you what sold. I'm going to tell you how much I paid for it, what it sold for, and how long it took to sell, and where I got it from. So you're going to get the whole gambit. It's going to be from basically Monday night through Sunday. So it's about 6 days. And but before I get started, I just wanted to pause to take a second to say, if you haven't subscribed, please help me out and hit subscribe so that we can help get my channel going and get it out there for other viewers to see. And I really appreciate all of those of you that have commented and liked and subscribed. Thank you to all of you that have done so. And I have a lot of viewers that haven't subscribed, so if you want to take a minute, that would be great. But with no further ado, let's get started with what sold last week. So we're going to start with eBay. As you may know, I cross-post using lists perfectly. So I also sell on other platforms like Mercari, Poshmark, and Etsy, and once in a while, Facebook Marketplace, if it's a larger item. But we're going to start with what sold on eBay. So first off, I have a pair of Nike Shox women's shoes. They sold for a best offer of $25, and they were listed for about 2 months. I got them at Goodwill, and yeah, so they were originally posted at $30-$40, but I took a best offer because they've been out there for a couple months. The next item is a pair of men's Justin cowboy boots. Some of the Justin cowboy boots can sell, north of 100. So always look out for them. These were pretty worn, but cowboys boots have a lot of wear, so they're always a good buy if you can buy them right. I bought these at a local thrift shop. I paid $7 for them, and they sold in 3 days for $32. So not a big seller, but it was a quick flip and not bad. Next, I sold a Nantucket pedestal teapot. It's more decorative. It's a porcelain teapot. And I got this at a garage sale recently, locally. And I paid $4. I took a best offer for $13. There wasn't much profit there. I wouldn't do it again. I thought maybe the teapot would be more valuable, but it wasn't. It took 6 weeks to sell. All right, next item. This was a good one. This was a Le Objet. I don't know how to say it, but basically a very large porcelain swan. He was painted in matte black, and he had 24 karat gold inside the bowl. He had some scuffing, like you find a lot with things that are painted that are vintage and they're matte. But I noted that in my ad, and I purchased him for $45, and he sold for $199 in 3 days. So possibly I undersold him. I was kind of worried about some of the marks on him, and I did see some that were a lot higher, but they were in very good condition. So sometimes you don't know if you had the right buyer. Oh, and I purchased that from the Goodwill online auction. So if you don't know about those, you can bid on things online, but I typically only bid online to my local auction where I don't have to pay for shipping and I can just drive and pick it up. So I'm saving a lot of money there, and I just kind of keep my eye on them. And big items like that cost a lot to ship are a better opportunity for me to snag at a lower cost. The next item is a Michael Kors. It was new with tags. It was basically just a cover-up, swimsuit cover-up. I had it, and it was just something I never wore. It was in my closet. I had pulled it out just because it was pink and navy blue. A lot of my swimsuits are black. I don't know. It didn't match. So it'd been out there for 10 months. So I got an offer for $11. I took it and ran with it just to make it go. Next item is a cross-stitch kit from Dimensions. Whenever I can get these kits for $1 to $2, I usually pick them up because I keep them all in one bin. They sell, and you just have to put them in a poly envelope and they're gone. It's just something that I can find usually often around here with our many seniors in this community. So this is just something I like to pick up and sell. Some of them sell for great money. I've sold them for $75, $85 if they're like Christmas ones. But this was just a small little floral, and I took a best offer of 10. I was into it for $2. I bought a whole bin of them. So the average cost was $2, but a ton of them I sold for $30 or over. So it doesn't break my heart that I sold this one for 10 because it'd been out there for 10 months. The next item I sold was a Stephen Land dress shirt, and I took a best offer of $19. It had been listed for 2 years, but it finally sold. This was donated to me from a friend, so there's no cost to me, so it was fine for me to hang on to it, and it was a good sell at $19. The next item is a collection of 9 miniature Galt buildings. They're little ceramic buildings, and sometimes they're in a clump and sold as one unit, which I sold one of those recently for over $100. This one was actually it was 9 individual little buildings that when I put them together, they're like a little town scene. And I paid anywhere from $1 to $3 for each piece. So I had about $22 into this. And I took a best offer of $175, and I had them listed for 2 months. And these I purchased at a local thrift shop. Next up is by the way, those little buildings I see all the time. You know, when we're out thrifting, we see all kinds of little ceramic buildings. These ones are, they're heavy and like clay, and the Galt logo is impressed on the back. So definitely be on the lookout, because the last one I sold, I think it for $150, sold very quickly as well. So that's a kind of a bolo, guys. The next item that I sold on eBay was a Mexican Talavera Chihuahua puppy. I took a best offer of $17.75. I got him at my local thrift shop for $3, and he took 3 months to sell. So for things that aren't like, you know, need to have vintage things like that or fun things like that, 2 to 3 months to me is not bad at all. I consider it quick sells if it sells in 2 to 3 months when it's something like that. The next item was some books, The Heroes of Olympus. They're Disney 10th Anniversary Edition books. It was the full box set, and I got those for $6. I got them at my local thrift shop, and they sold in 5 days for $28. Maybe I had those underpriced. That was quick for those books. The next item is some porcelain seashell napkin rings. There was just 4 of them. I ended up getting them for $1 at my local thrift shop. They took just over 2 months to sell, and I took a best offer of $14.40. They're small, easy to pack, not a big, money maker. It's more bread and butter, but my favorite items that fit, I have ordered the 8x6x4 boxes, and I like 50% of everything I sell, honestly, I feel like can fit in one of those boxes. Hats, baseball hats, all kinds of things fit in those. And I love buying things that will fit in those size boxes. The next item is one of the Target birds. This one was 2023 bird. His name was Cutie Pie. And he's like a Valentine bird. And he's still sold in April. I paid 75 cents for him at Goodwill. And I took a best offer of $10 and put him in one of those boxes. And he took about 1 month to sell. The next item is a Boy Scout hat, adult size. So it could have been, a teenager or one of the adult leaders could wear the hat. And I paid $1.99 for it. I took a best offer of $13. It did have somebody's name written in magic or a permanent marker under the hat, but it was really fading. I just notated it and took a picture of it and showed it in my ad so that they knew and weren't surprised. But I took a best offer of $13 mainly because of the name in the hat. And it took less than a month to sell, and I got that at my local thrift shop. The next item is a pair of new with tags bikini bottoms. Not that I'm one of those people that I'll sell any kind of swimsuit piece. I just check it thoroughly. This one happens to be new, but if it wasn't new, I sell tons of swimsuits. Swimsuits are so seasonal that if you're carrying them year round, they move because people cruise year round, they vacation, and they have nowhere to go but eBay. Well, maybe Amazon, but better to go to eBay to get a swimsuit. But anyway, these actually came from my storage unit buyout. I've mentioned it on some of my earlier videos. I paid $300 for the whole locker, and there were literally thousands of items. In some items, I had like hundreds of the same item. And there were tons and tons of swimsuit pieces in there. So there's probably about 10 cents in per piece. Could even be less than that because I had several thousand pieces of jewelry alone in that buy. But anyway, I didn't list it all at once when I got it. So, I've been listing it as I go because like I said, a lot of it's like a lot of the same thing. So this was out there for 10 months and I took a best offer of $8. I have made my profits multiple times over a long time ago. The storage unit buyout was probably 3 years ago at this point. The next item is still on eBay is a Roblox Action Collection. This is a little Goodwill online buy. Also, I got multiples of this. This was my last one. He was out there for about 10 months, and I paid about $6 average per set, and he sold for $27.20. And then my next item is I sell these almost every week. It's a 1998 Olympic pin. I have several of them, and that was a high bid auction buy that I bid online, won the auction, and drove down like to Hollywood, Florida, and picked it up. And I paid $100 for the whole lot. I don't know how many pins were on there, but I have been selling them for a couple years now, and I made money or been profitable in the profit for so long. They're low dollar, but I keep selling them, and some people will buy them 5 at a time. There's been times when I've sold 10 or 15 at a time, and I have repeat buyers that come back and they buy more and more. So it only sold for $7.99. They've been out there for 2 years, And this auction was one time, or Kat has an option if you subscribe to her channel, that she will help you source online. And she puts in your zip code and she helps you find online opportunities. And this is one where she was helping me. It was my turn. And she found this auction of these pins and she guided me as to what my maximum bid should be. And I kept to it and I won the auction. And I mean, it has been probably something I wouldn't normally source, but I was like, you know, somebody that knows what they're doing gave me a good tip and it gave me some advice. I followed it and it has made me a lot of money. The next item is a Massimo Supply, you know, a Target t-shirt. It's new with tags. This is from that same storage unit buyout that I told you about, that I'm probably 10 cents in maybe per item. I took a best offer $6.39, and this one was only up for 5 weeks just because I found a whole another bag of t-shirts I hadn't listed, even though I've had them for a few years. The next item is a vintage little dollhouse, mini brass bed, like dollhouse furniture. And I bought this at an estate sale, and I bought a whole little bag of dollhouse furniture, and the bag was like $5, and there were like 5 or 6 pieces in there. So I sold them individually because they were all good pieces. So I'm about $1 in, and I took a best offer of $16. And I forgot to write down how long this took to sell, but this was a long tail item, guys. It was at least 1.5 years it took to sell, but it was teeny tiny, like this big, and it finally went out the door. The next item is a LuLaRoe shirt, new with tags. It was a lot buy that I did on OfferUp a couple years ago, and I got 200 pieces, all new with tags. Some were dresses and sweaters and skirts and all kinds of stuff. So maybe $1 in per piece. I did really well with the good, the good stuff sold right away, and I made my money back really quickly. Now I pretty much, any offer I get on the LuLaRoe is not a hot item, but all of my stuff is new with tags. So any offer, that's helped me get it out the door, I take. So I took an offer for $7. This one had been listed for 9 months, and out the door it went. And then the last eBay item I have is a little Blue Sky Clayworks Wind Dancer lighthouse themed. They're like little pottery items. I do pretty well with Blue Sky Clayworks. Sometimes they sell right away. Other times they take a few months, but they always sell. They're not vintage. Well, some of them that I pick up are vintage just because they happen to be. But I pick these up whether they're new or vintage just because they move for me. I've had really good luck. And I took a best offer of $18. It was took 3 months to sell, and I got it from a local thrift shop. That's it for eBay. So I had not very many sales across the other platforms, but I'll go over them. Had a couple Mercari sales. One of them is this Sport Tech polo shirt, men's size extra large, and I sold it for $9. And this was donated from a friend to me, so I had no cost in it. And it took about 3.5 months to sell. And then on Mercari, I sold a Funko Pop. It's Olaf, number 120. These don't sell for much. I could have lotted them up. I bought him at a Goodwill online auction, and so I got a lot of them. I think there was like 8 to 10 of them. And I just decided to list them individually, even though they're low dollar. They fit in that small box I told you about, and they're just so easy to pop in there. And he sold in 2 days for $7.99. And I paid, you know what, I can't remember what I paid for the lot, but I think it was $12. So they're about $2 in per Funko Pop. Which is not really a great sell, but there's a couple of them in there that go for a higher dollar. If they don't sell quickly, the rest of them, I probably will lot them up so that I can get them to move. Okay, that's it for Mercari. And let's go to Poshmark. And Poshmark, I had a couple sales. One of them is some Hampton Silversmiths gold tone flatware, new in the box. I paid $3 for it at our local thrift shop, and it took 3 months to sell, and they sold for $21. And then on Etsy, I sold a couple things. One of them is this vintage Coalport liquor decanter in blue and white. And I bought this at our local thrift shop. It was took me 8 months to move this decanter, but I did sell it for $25.55, and I only paid $2.50. So happy to sell that. And then I have a Sarah Coventry turquoise necklace that was part of my death pile out here, one of the bins in my earlier videos that I pulled to sell. And it took 3 weeks to sell for $10 on Etsy. And I'm about $1 in. I bought a lot of Sarah Coventry jewelry, also on Goodwill Online. And then the last item I have with Etsy for this week is a vintage Federal Glass flower petal bowl. It's iridescent. It's really beautiful. It sold in 6 days, and I'm glad it sold on Etsy. It sold for $22. I was $3 in. This is actually not a big money maker, because on eBay I was seeing sales out the door for like $14, $15. So I had it listed for significantly lower. It's my favorite thing about Etsy is usually for vintage stuff, you're getting a lot better sales on Etsy. Not as many of them, but like I said, I had this, I think, listed for $14 on eBay, and I sold it for $22 on Etsy. So that's my favorite thing about Etsy. Just to recap the week, the total sales across all 4 platforms was $759.87. Now that's way lower than normal, but that's what it was last week for about 6 days. Normally over the weekend I have about 20 sales, and I only had 10 on eBay this weekend. So it was really slow, but that's because I wasn't listing like I should. But I will, going forward, put out a what sold video every week. And once I get my sales back up to normal, I'll probably just review over the weekend. But I hope you liked the what sells videos, because I plan to keep rolling them out so you can see what is selling and what's a good buy and what is possibly not a good buy, so that when you're out sourcing, you'll have a better idea of what to look out for, what not to look out for. So thanks again, you guys, for joining me. And once again, please subscribe. I'm hoping to start putting out 2 videos a week, one being the what sold like I did today, and the other one being some other activity that has to do with reselling. And I hope to start doing some also sourcing videos where you can join me when I'm out shopping and buying this stuff. So that's something to look out for in the future. And again, until next time, guys, thanks and have a great week.